Hello and welcome to the Candidate Forum for primary candidates for District 7, Ramsey County Commissioner. I am Diane Dahl, a member of the League of Women Voters from outside Ramsey County, and I will be your moderator. The League of Women Voters is a nonpartisan volunteer organization which encourages citizens to participate in government. Our mission is to support voter education and voters' rights. Though the League studies and takes positions on issues, we do not support or oppose any candidate or political party. Our goal is to encourage citizens to learn more about the positions of the candidates who will be on your ballot on August 13th. The two candidates who get the most votes in the primary will be on the November general election ballot. All candidates who filed to run for this position were invited to participate, and this morning we have three candidates, Kelly Miller, Sarah Yang, and Michelle Yenner. Kevin Berglund is not here. To begin, each candidate will introduce themselves by name and make an opening statement of up to 1 minute. Our timekeeper will show warning signs of 30 seconds, and 15 seconds, and a stop sign. At that time, you may finish your sentence. The opening statements will be in alphabetical order. Thereafter, the order of speaking will be rotated randomly as I call on the speakers. Candidates may speak for up to 1 minute on the question. Candidates, you do not have to use the full time. You can just say what you have to say and be done. That may allow more time for more questions. Each timekeeper will have the opportunity to have up to 3 rebuttals to clarify misinformation. The time for rebuttals is 30 seconds. When questions are finished, candidates will have 1 minute for their closing statement, and that will be in reverse alphabetical order. So our timekeeper has shown you the time cards, and I'll see that we stick to that. Questions were received in advance from the public and reviewed by a committee of League of Women Voters members. We will not use questions that are unclear, hostile, or of a personal nature. We may consolidate questions that fall in the same general topic area. All questions submitted are the property of the League of Women Voters. Okay, let's begin with our opening statements. And for the opening statements, Kelly Miller goes first.
Perfect. Let me know when you're ready. Ready? Okay. Bonjour. My name is Kelly Miller, and I first want to start off by thanking the White Bear Lake Women League of Voters for hosting this candidate forum. I'm running for Ramsey County Commissioner because I believe I'm the best candidate towards a brighter future. My candidacy is grounded in a blend of lived experience, professional expertise in the nonprofit sector, and a proven track record of board governance. Having personally relied on government services, I understand the critical role they play in the lives of our residents. My work in the nonprofit sector has allowed me to directly address the needs of our community, from providing essential services to families in crisis, to advocating for systematic changes that promote long-term well-being. I've consistently worked alongside the county on various initiatives, not only to deliver vital services, but to drive meaningful, sustainable change. My experience in board governance has equipped me with the skills to lead efficiently, ensuring transparency, accountability, and strategic decision-making. I'm deeply committed to improving public health and safety, strengthening, thank you.
You could finish your sentence if you like.
Strengthening community services, fostering economic prosperity, and protecting our environment. Thank you.
Thank you, Candidate Miller. All right, next is candidate
Yang.
Yang. You moved on me a little bit. Yeah, Candidate Yang. That's okay.
I asked to move here because I've been having a cough, but I'm very positive I'm negative for COVID. Just want everyone to be aware of that. Hi, everyone. First, I just want to thank you to the White Bear Lake League of Women for allowing me to be here today and also be able to host this for me as well. I am a daughter of refugees. My parents settled here in 1992 due to the war, due to the Vietnam War, and Because of that, they were able to bring us here and to able to live the American dream. I am the fifth of the 8 of my siblings and the first in my family to earn a bachelor and master degree. And with that, I have been able to give my parents their American dream. I am a proud aunt of 14 nieces and nephews, and I am bringing in years of public services experience coming to this role. I know how it feels like to live with struggle with housing stability, family living from paycheck to paycheck, and watching my family struggle. I am committed, and I am going to make sure that our community will have housing stability, workforce development, economic development. Thank you.
Thank you, Candidate Yang. All right, Candidate Yenner.
All right, thank you. I also want to thank the League of Women Voters for hosting the forum, and thank you to Kelly and Sarah for being here to make the forum possible. My name is Michelle Yenner. I'm also a candidate for Ramsey County Commissioner, District 7. I'm running because I believe I can provide a nonpartisan voice for the entire community on important issues like public safety, health, fiscal responsibility, and community development. I'm a lifelong resident of Ramsey County, currently living in Maplewood. I've served on the North St. Paul Maplewood Oakdale School Board for the last 14 years, and there I've learned the role of oversight for a large budget, and I've learned to work across all types of community divides to come to positive outcomes. I believe I can make a positive outcome as a Ramsey County Commissioner. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Candidate Yenner. Let's get started with our questions, and I'll read the question. If, when it's your turn, you'd like me to repeat the question, I'm happy to do that. So our first question will go first to Candidate Yang. What do you believe is the most important role of a county commissioner?
I believe the most important role as a county commissioner is making sure that they are hearing community voices. I think that is something that we've been missing and something that we have to continue to do so. Because community voices, I know not everyone knows about county commissioner, and making sure that folks do know what county commissioner also do in their role and how they can support and how community members can also advocate for themselves and their family, especially in crisis stakes that their family is struggling, and what kind of resources that county commissioners and the county overall can do to support families. Thank you.
Thank you. Would you like the question repeated? We're going to Candidate Yenner.
Sure, thank you.
Okay. What do you believe is the most important role of a county commissioner?
I believe the most important role of a county commissioner or any elected official, frankly, is to understand the budget. I don't think anything can happen. You cannot be a productive elected official if you don't understand the budget. The budget for Ramsey County is over $800 million. It's a huge budget. They do a lot of things with it. They can't meet the priorities they need to meet if they don't have good oversight, fiscal oversight. Currently on the North St. Paul Maplewood Oakdale School Board, our budget is about $250 million. So over the 14 years, I've been learning, how does this budget work? What can we spend? How can we impact changes? The budget for Ramsey County is over $800 million. If folks go into roles like this without a clear understanding of the importance of the budget, I think it's detrimental to public service. Thank you.
Okay. Candidate Miller?
Yes, I feel that the most important role as a county commissioner is, well, one, understanding the role in that what you are being elected to do to represent your communities, but also to ensure that our county services are operating efficiently, that we're aligned with our strategic priorities, and like Candidate Yenner said, that we have transparency, that we have accountability, and that someone that understands the role of fiscal responsibility and how budgets operate, how they work. 44% of our budget for Ramsey County comes from the tax levy, and 47% of that is spent on social services. So making sure that, one, you understand where our money is coming from and how it's being spent, but also how our services are being provided to community members is important. Thank you.
All right, moving on to question 2. You've all anticipated me a little bit, but we'll go ahead. Here's question 2. The Ramsey County budget is more than $800 million. What experiences in fiscal management and oversight will you bring if you are elected? And first on this one is candidate Yang.
Experiences that I bring is I've been on the Minnesota Trio Board for the past 2 years, and being able to oversee that budget. That budget's about $156,000. It sounds little, but then with Trio programs, it's a college prep program for high school students. And, well, technically, it's for college students, high school students that are first gen and low income. And even though it's a small budget, it oversees a huge program that exists in Minnesota and United States overall to make sure that the budget is being used correctly and informing to able to provide services as well as services and leadership conferences for our students as well as adults and also the staff that provides these services for our students.
Thank you. Candidate Yenner.
Will you repeat the question again?
Sure.
Thank you.
The Ramsey County budget is more than $800 million. What experiences in fiscal management and oversight will you bring if you are elected?
Yeah, so again, 14 years on the North St. Paul Maplewood Oakdale School Board. The budget is approximately a third of what the Ramsey County budget is, but the experience is the same. Understanding the impacts of how we spend our money. There's a saying in education and probably elsewhere that you can spend each dollar once. So we have a lot of priorities, and managing those priorities is it's vital. I know that Ramsey County has over 4,000 employees, and just like the school district, you need to take care of your employees. It's going to be one of the biggest budget lines for the county. They also have over $2 billion in capital assets, and you need to ensure that you're maintaining your assets and, just like your home, not letting things fall apart. So the experience I would bring is my 14 years with the school board managing a budget there.
Thank you. Candidate Miller.
Yes. I come up from the nonprofit sector, so I have experience as a program director overseeing programming that's provided directly to the community. So I have budget experience in ensuring that our budget's balanced, that we have enough funding to continue providing the services that we need, that we have the budget to continue with our staffing and our employees. I'm also seated on local nonprofit board of directors, so understanding where money comes from, how money is spent, where to also receive dollars, right? So you're fundraising for it, you're receiving it from the county, the state, the federal government. So I believe that my experience is budget oversight, accountability, transparency as well, and being able to make those hard decisions when needed. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, take a deep breath because you're first on this next one. Question number 3. How would you describe the county's relationship with the Metropolitan Council? What changes, if any, would you like to see in that relationship?
Yeah, so the Met Council, we have, I see that relationship as a collaborative for both our transportation systems and also for housing as well. I'm not super familiar, so I will first off start by saying that, and I'm definitely willing to learn more and able to dive right in. But the Met Council is a big region. It oversees all of this area, and so we have to be able to work together collaboratively to ensure that our transportation systems for bus lines work well. If we are doing any housing initiatives, there's a lot of funding dollars that the Met Council also provides out. I'm more familiar with the work that they do for cities and nonprofits, but I'm willing to learn more on how they work with the county besides transportation.
Okay, thank you. Next, candidate Yenner.
Yeah, so kind of following on Kelly's statement, I wouldn't say that I have a tremendous amount of familiarity with all of the relationships between the Met Council and the Ramsey County. I do know, again, as a school board member, that when people come into a role, even if they think they know a lot about it, they probably don't, and they learn a lot on the job. So I'm sure as Ramsey County Commissioners come in, they learn a lot on the job. That said, there has obviously been a lot of news about the transportation with the Met Council and budgets that, the Ramsey County Commissioner ends up picking up the slack for transportation, going over budget. I think the dependence on the budget of Ramsey County is unfair to the county. There's the dollars, again, they need to make a choice. Ramsey County needs to make a choice how to spend their dollars, and it would be nice if that relationship changed.
Thank you. Candidate Yang.
Can you please repeat the question?
Yes. How would you describe the county's relationship with the Metropolitan Council? What changes, if any, would you like to see in that relationship?
So kind of what Yenner and Miller has said, I'm not as familiar with the Met Council. However, I do know the importance of being able to create relationship with Met Council and as the county commissioner or commissioner overall, because I know that there is an importance of the purple line that's coming in and understanding how it's going to impact families, community members, as well as businesses, and informing our family and community members as well, and how that will impact their lives, and making sure letting family knows about where the progress is at, because I know that a lot of folks are unhappy or is happy or is unsure where the purple line is going to be. I know that I am a fast learner and someone that's willing to invest and learn more, and also be able to have a relationship and partner with the Met Council.
Thank you. Moving on to question number 4, Candidate Yenner, you will be first. How would you ensure that county residents have an opportunity to be heard at the county meetings?
So my experience with public meetings is that you have a public forum. Literally, my experience is at the beginning of the school board meetings, we have an opportunity for public input. I believe that the county should have a similar opportunity. When we've made large decisions within the district, we've always been very intentional about creating opportunities for different slices of the community to have input. For example, going out to the realtor groups, going out to the business groups, going out to the chambers of commerce, the Rotary, all of the different folks who have investment in the community, and not just those who are connected, but those who, want to be connected for a different reason. Making sure that they all have an opportunity at different events so that we have all of the input and not just those who are always heard.
Thank you. Kelly Miller.
Yes, so I believe that open communication is key in really any position that you have. You have to be able to have great communication. You have to have great relationships with the community, with the people you serve. In my role as leadership in the nonprofit, I have an open door policy where my staff and our community members we serve can stop by and see me at any time and talk. I also believe that there should be an area on the agenda where public can come in and do public comment or voice their concerns. Our commissioners should be easily accessible, right? They should be responsive. We should be able to reach out or stop by if we need to and be able to chat and bring our concerns. And making sure that, one, that communication is strong, that if there are big changes, that all communities know about it, not just the people that are more familiar with the county services, but that we're doing our outreach to all the communities from diverse to, just community members, right? That's it. Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Thank you. Candidate Yang.
Diana, can you please repeat the question?
I will. How would you ensure that county residents have an opportunity to be heard at county meetings?
Yes. So I will make sure to also be able to have one-on-one meeting, like have an hour at least once a week to able to allow folks to come in, as I know that not everyone has a capacity to able to come to forums or come to public hearing, but being able to have that space so that it could just be a one-on-one and they could share what they want to say without other folks hearing. I also truly believe in co-governing campaign, as that is making sure that my campaign continue to talk to community members out when I'm in office, so that they know what's happening as I am in office, what's happening in the county, what's happening in the community, and how they can invest their time and how they could take advantage of what we have going on, and what else, and what questions or concerns they also have that my co-governing campaign can bring it back to me.
Thank you. Okay, going on to question 5, and candidate Miller will be first. As a county commissioner, what measures, if any, would you suggest to reinforce or ensure voter confidence in our elections?
Yeah, great question. So the county plays a big role in voting, and I believe that there are a lot of things we can implement, and I believe the county has already started that great work. Ensuring our voting systems is safe and secure is making sure that, one, voting is easily accessible, that community members can have access to voting, so that they have polls opening, that they have security if needed at polls, and making sure that our poll workers are trained, right, that they're adequately trained and that there's enough so they're not overworked. Also believe that making sure that our systems, our electronic systems that we use, are also up to date, and that we're continually checking how our election processes are and working.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Candidate Yang.
Can you please repeat that question?
Yes. As a county commissioner, what measures, if any, would you suggest to reinforce or ensure voter confidence in our elections?
Yes. So I understand the difficulties that everyone may have based on their own ability to go out and vote, whether the lack of resources or the mobility to get to the poll. So I know the importance of VBM, vote by mail, to inform our community members that they can too do that, and educating them the importance of vote by mail, as well as providing transportation to those who cannot get themselves to the poll. I know not everyone loves to vote by mail, but folks do love to vote by in person, and securing that by transporting them to the poll location and making sure that the poll location is also safe and secure, and being able to have translator if needed, or assistant in whatever that is needed for our voters. And also making sure that we inform folks about when election is coming up, and to do so, we had to door knock, phone bank, and we had to mail out mailer. Thank you.
Thank you. Candidate Yenner.
So Ramsey County does have oversight over voting, so I do believe that it's imperative that they take a role. I mean, we haven't always had a situation where we've had such high distrust in voting, so I feel like some action is warranted. We need people to trust our elections. It's really, it's fundamentally vital that we have trust in our elections, transparent processes. On the other hand, well-trained election judges. On the other hand, there is all the information available. It's all out there. But it doesn't get to the right people at the right time. So I do feel like there could be greater efforts made, maybe targeted efforts, to ensure that some of the nuances in our voting system get to the people who need that information. Again, transparency of process. It's a complicated system. It's more complicated, once you dig into it. So I think it's fair to recognize that it is complicated and to address those who need it most, right?
Thank you. Let's move on to question number 6 then, and candidate Yang will be first. What infrastructure needs in the county do you believe are the most critical to address in the next 5 years?
Yes, infrastructure that I believe that we need to inform our community member is the purple line, because that is going to be a big project lots of money that's going to go into that's going to be invested. So we had to continue to inform our community members about the progress, where it's going, where it's starting, where it's stopping, and how it's going to impact our families, especially small businesses, and how the revenue will come into our county, because that is important, because we want to continue to grow our county. We want to continue to make sure that our family is safe and make sure that young people or people in general who needs the pipeline to get to work and to home. Also, making sure that our roads, sidewalks are built for long term and also safe as well. I know not all neighborhoods have sidewalks, and I know that is a big issue for many folks. Thank you.
Thank you. Michelle Yenner.
Will you repeat the question, please?
Sure. What infrastructure needs in the county do you believe are the most critical to address in the next 5 years?
Yeah. So the county owns, as I said before, $2 billion worth of assets. They own 250 miles of roads. I think maintaining our assets is vital. I also agree that transportation is important. I do think that there's been a lot of frustration around transportation, and I'm not sure that we're always making choices that are in the best interest of our community, and I'm not sure that we have community support with all of our transportation choices. I'm not sure that our transportation is being used the way the county intends it to be used or lawmakers intend it to be used. That said, I also feel that housing, and particularly low-income housing, is among our greatest needs. Also concerns around what's happening with the empty office buildings in our downtown area. I'll stop. Thank you.
Thank you. Kelly Miller.
Yes, so I believe for our infrastructure needs, it has to start with safety, right? We have to ensure that our roadways, our bridges, and that our buildings, that they're safe, that our communities have access. Transportation is huge, but again, transportation has to work for all community members, and we do have to have community buy-in on that. We also, like Yenner said, we own a lot of property, and where is that property? What is being done with that property? Is there plans for that? And what's the cost to maintain those properties if they're just sitting vacant and there's no plans for that? So definitely our needs should start with the safety to make sure our roadways, our bike paths, our bridges, our transportation areas are safe for our community members.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. For question number 7, candidate Yenner will be first. Ramsey County is the most racially diverse urban county in Minnesota. What strategies do you support to ensure that the county meets its goals of racial equity and economic inclusion?
Sure. I think the racial diversity of Ramsey County is one of our strengths. I know I keep referring to the school district, but it's my experience. So the ISD 622 school district is about 70% students of color, and we have celebrated this diversity. We believe it's a strength for us. The way that you get to your goals is by being clear about your goals. So I believe that some of the goals within Ramsey County around equity, they're not clearly articulated. They're not something when I go through Ramsey County's material that they don't pop out at me. So I think the first step in improving this is articulating your goals. I think it takes courage to do that, and I believe that at ISD 622, we have the courage to do that, and we did do that, and I believe that Ramsey County needs to do that as well.
Thank you. Candidate Miller.
Yes, perfect. This is one of my priority areas, diversity and inclusion. First of all, great question, right? So we need to ensure that we're addressing the systematic barriers that have long affected our marginalized communities. I work in a lot of diverse communities, so making sure that the county listens to the community members, right? That there's no one way to do things, that they're learning alongside you, that we have clear goals, clear plans, and making sure that that is meaningful work. So it's not just words we're putting on a paper, but it's words that we wholeheartedly believe in, from leadership at the top all the way down to our frontline staff workers, and making sure that our employees have the resources, the tools they need to be able to do this meaningful work. Because the work we do for community members, it's really hard work, and making sure that our communities that have a history of being marginalized have a voice at the table. Making sure our board represents our communities. Like our diversity is really Ramsey County's strength. Thank you.
Thank you. Candidate Yang.
I have worked and I have served 2 terms for AmeriCorps and worked in public services for multiple years. And I understand the importance of diversity and equity and inclusion. And to even start with all of that, we had to educate our community of how to use their voice and how to make sure that how and where to use their voice. Because as much as we want to able to include everyone, we had to educate them to how they can use their voice to do that. So being able to knock on doors, call folks, phone banks, as well as host community events in multiple cities to inform them, especially our community members who see elected official but don't understand how they can reach to elected officials. So we had to start from bottom up, because that is the most important thing, to get our diverse community to come out, especially the young and the old. The young are not as invested, and the old is getting there. And we have to continue to invest in our elders.
Thank you. All right, moving on to question 8, and candidate Yenner, you're first again. What specific action do you support Ramsey County taking to protect our environment and to make our community more environmentally sustainable?
Just in general, protecting our environment, I think it's important. I know, like, one of the efforts that's currently happening, because I hear a lot about it from my commissioner, is around waste management. There's been a significant effort to do a better job managing our waste, and using processes that they've learned from, I believe it was Norway or something, to recycle to recycle the waste and actually turn it into energy. So, there are a lot of people who work in the county with the specific expertise around the best ways to promote our, to protect our environment. I'm just saying, the one that I've been aware of is this waste management one. I think it's fantastic. I think everyone in the community supports this effort and efforts like it. I don't think anybody in the community is opposed to protecting our environment in a sensible way.
Thank you. Candidate Yang.
So to protect our environment and energy saving, I recently, a couple months ago, I met a community member in District 7. Her name was Randy, and she had invited me to one of their Boys and Girls Club trash pickup. And I actually brought my niece and nephew with me. And my niece, who was 7 or 8, sorry, I don't really know their age, but 7 or 8, and she was just amazed. She was like, "Auntie, can we do this again tomorrow?" I was like, "They don't have an event tomorrow, but you can pick up trash around your neighborhood." So being able to make sure that we continue to bring our community together to help pick up the litter that is in our community, because that's where it really starts. And also, not just that, our county is a growing county. It's a growing family, young family as well. And how do we continue to educate and help our family to repair their windows or their doors to create those energy safe, because then that will really help just not them, but also the county overall.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Candidate Miller.
Yes, so As an Anishinaabe Ikwe, I definitely believe in planning 7 generations ahead for our environment, making sure that we are leaving our earth and our environment a better place, not just for my great-grandchildren, but for 7 generations ahead. So ensuring that we're protecting our environment, but also we're aligning with Ramsey County's Action Equity Plan that addresses climate change. So whether that's through our work through the waste, whether that's making sure our transportation systems are efficient and energy efficient so that we're not using, protecting our natural resources and making sure, Ramsey County is a really developed county, and we do have a lot of parks and recs and acreage that we cover, making sure that they stay maintained and that we are able to protect wildlife. But also, sorry, I just kind of lost my trail of thought there. But just making sure, even making sure that we educate the public on how small steps can lead to big changes down the road for our communities.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. You'll be first on this one, Candidate Miller. Question number 9. Ramsey County has a stated goal to, quote, strengthen individual, family, and community health, safety, and well-being. What do you believe is the principal action needed to make significant progress on this goal?
Yeah, so this kind of ties into a big reason as to why I'm running for county commissioner. I really see firsthand how policies and initiatives affect people on the ground, and community members. People are going to the county not when it's always their best moment, and if our service deliveries are not obtainable or we're not responsive, we're not doing our part as a county. But that also then we need to do an internal look at our county and why are we not doing our part? Is it because we do not have adequate staffing? Is it because we're not paying living wages? Is it because our staff are overworked? So I believe that in order to do that, we have to really start with ourselves and make those changes so we can help our community in a better way.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Candidate Yang.
Can you please repeat the question?
Yes. Ramsey County has a stated goal to strengthen individual, family, and community health, safety, and well-being. What do you believe is the principal action needed to make significant progress on this goal?
The progress for this, I truly believe, and like I had mentioned earlier, is that we have to invest in our elders and our young people, and not just even that, but also our young family that's growing that needs childcare. First, the elders, as they had raised us and invested in us, we need to give that back. And to do so, we need to make sure that the county is giving back to them as much as possible, whether that is with county services, the income that they receive from the county, as well as the young people. How do we continue to educate them to make sure that they are healthy and they are safe, whatever they decide to do with their own body? And also with childcare, I know that with our young family growing here in the county, we have to make sure that there is affordable childcare so that both parents can go to work, so both parents does have health insurance, so both parents can bring income back home so that not one or two will have to lose money just due to childcare. Thank you.
Thank you. Candidate Yenner.
Could you please repeat the question?
I will. Ramsey County has a stated goal to strengthen individual, family, and community health, safety, and well-being. What do you believe is the principal action needed to make significant progress on this goal?
Mm-hmm. So I think like everything, at the end of the day, I would defer to the expertise of the people in the roles, in the, the career professionals in the roles within Ramsey County. However, I have seen that the principal, approach would be pushing services out into the community. So with the community schools, where you push the dental services into the schools, you push the vaccination clinic into the school, talking about the elders, you push the services out where the elders are. So having kind of services where you need to make a difficult journey to go get them does not work. So if we really want to address the health, safety, and well-being of our community, we need to do a better job of pushing out those services and meeting our community where they are. It's successful, it works. Our kids get vaccinated through this approach. Our, kids get dental care through this approach.
Thank you. Moving on to question 10 then, and first will be candidate Yang. The Ramsey County Comprehensive Plan indicates a need for over 3,800 affordable housing units by 2040. Please indicate the strategies you support to meet this need.
Yes. So my family, we grew up living in public housing, and we moved from home to home. So I understand firsthand what it means to actually have a home. My parents finally bought a home, and when I was a teenager. But before that, the difficulty in understanding public housing. So to ensure that we do get families into these 3,800 homes by 2040 is really to partner with the investor, the realtor, and also the contractor who is building these homes, so that we can educate families how they can afford these homes, especially with the first generation home buyer that's coming up. Well, actually, it is here now. You just have to apply for it. That is here, and how do we continue to educate our community members that they too can qualify for it if they are first generation home buyers, as well as Habitat for Humanity. They also have programs that can support our family. And how does that look like? And also multiple other programs, especially first time home buyer too. Thank you.
Thank you. Candidate Yenner.
Will you repeat the question?
I will. The Ramsey County Comprehensive Plan indicates a need for over 3,800 affordable housing units by 2040. Please indicate the strategies you support to meet this need.
Great. Again, there are a lot of career professionals who work in housing with Ramsey County. I would defer to them. But what I would come in with is the newer houses being built. They're not starter homes. They're not affordable for most of us. They're not affordable for me. Fewer people are moving out of the affordable starter houses because of, the costs of a new home as well as high interest rate. We have a housing crisis. We need to create urgency around it. We need to encourage more support from our state and federal government. The housing crisis is not Ramsey County's crisis alone. It's shared across government agencies. We need to encourage city-level zoning as well as permitting for affordable housing, which has been a significant barrier. And we need to enlist the public sector, the nonprofit sector, and others who have a track record of success. And, be careful with the dollars that we're spending to ensure that we're using solutions that work. Thank you.
Thank you. Candidate Miller.
Yes, so we need to come up with creative solutions that work for all community members, whether you're coming out of homelessness, whether you're coming out of incarceration, or you're buying your home for your first time, or you're selling your home and now you want to downsize. We can do these by partnering, with local cities and making sure that any new builds that are being built, any housing developments, that they're within the AMI of the local city or the local area, that we have home buyer programs that the community members know about and that are actually helpful and beneficial, that we look into maybe rent stabilization, so rent is not continuously to increase at these high rates every year for working community members, and that we also build those relationships with landlords and provide those resources. I think a lot of our community members who are in poverty are relying on services like Section 8 or going off or low-income housing, even HUD housing, making sure that landlords have the relationships and that we have those relationships as well, so we can kind of break that stigma that only Section 8 it's not good to rent a Section 8 residence, when it's a great program that helps people.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Candidate Miller, you're first on this next one.
All right.
Question 11, what actions do you think the county should take to promote business development and to attract and retain jobs?
Okay, So one, we need to make sure that we're a county of choice, okay? So business development, ensuring that business owners or even entrepreneurs want to come to our county and start their business here. So making sure that there is policies, that there are connections, whether that is with retaining and obtaining employees, making sure that I'm not very familiar in this area, so I would definitely make sure to lean on wonderful people who are familiar in this area, but I'm going to leave it at that. I'm going to admit when I do not know.
Okay, thank you. To you, candidate Yenner.
Yeah, okay. I know I keep asking you this, but
No problem. What actions do you think the county should take to promote business development and to attract and retain jobs?
yes. So I grew up in a household where my mother was a homemaker and my father was a small business owner. My brother now owns that business. So the business climate is important to me. I know that businesses create jobs. They bring goods and services to our community. Again, with the school district, they provide an important tax base, which is also important for Ramsey County. And they make a serious investment in the community. My father and my brother care a lot about the community because they're making an investment. So the things that we can do to support the business, support jobs and businesses include support for job seekers and tax incentives and loans for businesses, making sure that we provide a business-friendly environment, consulting business when we're making large decisions around, infrastructure or transportation, making them feel like they matter. They do.
Thank you. All right, candidate Yang.
Back in early 2000, I worked for Cookie Cart. You never heard of it? Cookie Cart, it's a youth program that serve high school students to give them the first job and also train them and give them skills so that when they move to the next job, they are well prepared. So I hold that deeply in my heart, and as I continue, because it became a well community for me. And when I think about businesses, I think that we need to invest in them like they are our family. Because when you invest in businesses, the business also invests in you and your county overall. Because then they will stay longer in the county. They actually want to serve and make sure that they are up to protocols. Because that is important. When a business is not up to protocol, they actually do have to leave or be kicked out. And also making sure that when we invest back to our small business owner, what kind of benefits can we give to them? So I think that's something that we have to look into and make sure that me as the next county commissioner is making sure that we can also do that and make sure that they are also being well taken care of so they can stay in our community. Thank you.
All right, our final question, number 12, is going to go first to candidate Yenner. Please describe a situation when you had to work with someone who held different opinions than yourself and how you worked with them.
Oh, my. So this happens all the time. So, I have so many examples, but I think a really good example is the last 3 years I served on the Minnesota School Board Association, which is the statewide association for school boards. This was a learning experience for me because I was used to metro school districts and suddenly I'm working with outstate school districts. They have a very different perspective, many of them. So the question is, how did we get along?
Describe how you worked with them.
Yes. So the way that you work with people with a very different perspective than you do is you have to come in with respect. We know that they are well-meaning. They know that I'm well-meaning, but we're not on the same page. So you have to come in with respect. You have to be open-minded. You have to listen to what they say. And you can't dismiss what they say, even when you disagree with it. You need to incorporate everybody's feedback, and this is the way you make decisions as well when you're in public office.
Thank you. Okay, to candidate Yang, please describe a situation where you had to work with someone who held different opinions than yourself and how you worked with them.
Yes, I kind of like Yenner said, there's so many situations. However, I would say the most recent one is, so my full-time job, I work with True Upper Bound. It's a college prep program for high school students getting them prepared for college. And recently, one of my colleagues actually quit and left. And our students are doing summer program currently. And they actually have to, my coworker quit on Sunday. All of our students move in on Sunday. And being able to have that conversation with my coworker of understanding why and what happened and how can I support my colleagues to make sure they don't leave so that we can continue to give this experience to our students this summer. Even though we both share our own opinion, we share our own experiences, and being able to respect their opinion and their decision, and being able to also give them advice since they are moving forward versus holding them back, especially when they weren't happy to stay. And that means then I had to work with my other colleagues who are still in the program to make sure that we continue to move forward like nothing had happened in our summer program this year.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Candidate Miller.
Yeah, so I have encountered this often. My husband and I see different views politically very often, so I'm very familiar with this. It's making sure that when you have open communication, that you come in with respect, that you come in with an open mind. There's a saying that you can remove yourself and put yourself on the balcony and really look at it from their perspective. And so oftentimes I find myself putting myself on the balcony, whether it's in my work, home life, or even with other community members, just to hear their perspective. And also being able to come to a solution that works for everybody, because we all want the same thing. We're all working towards the same goals. It's just we have different opinions and viewpoints on how we're going to get to those goals. So it's really having that mutual respect, that open communication, and being able to have that open dialogue, right? Like being able to talk with each other and, well, why do you see it that way? And this is how I see it. And, well, maybe this is where we can meet. So being able to compromise to make sure the job gets done.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, that completes our 12 questions. So we're on to our closing remarks, which we will do in reverse alphabetical order. And so, Candidate Yenner, you are first with your closing remarks. Again, 1 minute.
Okay, thank you again to the league and to Kelly and Sarah for making the forum possible. Again, I believe I'd be a strong candidate for Ramsey County Commissioner and would represent the county without bias or partisanship. I would lean on my expertise on budgets to spend each dollar wisely. I want to see a Ramsey County that thrives, and I know the best way to do this is through fiscal accountability. I also want to recognize there are about 4,000 employees who make the county run. I want these employees to thrive in their jobs so that we can attract talent and retain these employees. As a member of a governance board, I would respect their expertise, and I would also consult the community to make sure I was representing them. So Ramsey County is a great place to live, and by listening closely to the voice of the community, I believe we can make it better. Thank you.
Thank you. Candidate Yang.
Sorry.
Okay.
Well, again, thank you. Thank you to everyone that's here, and thank you to everyone that's going to be watching us later on today. And I really do want to say that growing up in poverty, it taught me a lot at a young age to be resilient and to be a problem solver. And every day in that, it grounds me that in the reality that many of our neighbors also go through the same thing, and that we're going to make sure we are the agent of change so that our kids and our future kids or grandkids also don't have to go through what we are going through or gone through. And I am so proud to have said that I had elected others in the past 7 years, leading boldly and unapologetically towards the people-centered government and politics, and also ensuring that all people thrive from the bottom up. It also inspired me to get involved in politics, as now it makes this decision for myself to run for county commissioner in District 7. And I know I am ready to take this leadership to the next level. And in the words of the late Senator Paul Wellstone, when we all do better, we all do better. Thank you.
Thank you. Candidate Miller.
Thank you, Miigwech, again, White Bear Lake Women League of Voters, and to Michelle and Sarah. Like I've said, I'm running for Ramsey County Commissioner because the county services play a vital role in maintaining a safe, healthy, and thriving community, addressing the diverse needs of our residents and enhancing the overall quality of our lives. And I've seen firsthand how these policies and initiatives affect people, and not just people that need a helping hand, but people of all socioeconomic statuses, to even like homeowners like myself. I'm ready to be an effective leader on day one because of my work in the community, experience in service delivery, and years of serving on a variety of nonprofit boards and board governance. I also believe that representation matters, and our local government should represent our diverse communities. And if elected, I would be the first Native American to serve on a Ramsey County Board of Commissioners, and that's huge. So definitely, thank you.
Thank you. Thank all of you. This concludes our forum for Ramsey County Commissioner from District 7. Our website, lwv-wbla.org, has listings for all our candidate forums and links where you can submit questions for those forums. You can view the recording of this forum and all of our forums on our YouTube channel, League of Women Voters, White Bear Lake area. You can also look for it on suburban community cable at times of their choosing. So again, thank you all for your time and attention to this forum today. It's much appreciated. Everyone, remember to vote in the primary election on or before August 13th. Early voting started on the 28th. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.